We're in Rome, Italy, and we're at a site known as Mamertine Prison. And this is where historically Peter and Paul both were separately imprisoned before their execution under Emperor Nero. And we've had a ton of fun. We've seen a lot of really cool spots. We've seen a lot of really cool places in architecture and monuments, but this is different. This is still happening, and it was just like I just literally sat down and we just stared at it, because right inside there was where Paul actually wrote the letters. I'm going to read it. He wrote the words, "From I am already being poured out like a drink offering, and the time of my departure has come. I have fought the good fight. I have finished the race. I have kept the faith. Henceforth there is laid up for me the crown of righteousness, which the Lord, the righteous judge, will award to me on that day. And not only to me, but also to all who have loved his appearing." That's where Paul wrote those words, right here. And that's why this movie is important. Because this is happening other places, maybe not in Rome anymore, but this is happening around the world. And you and I as believers, we stand on the shoulders of men and women like this, who acted as Christ-like as possible in giving themselves completely so that the gospel can go forth. And that's why this movie is important. I don't care if you don't like it. That's really okay. I don't care ultimately if you don't own the movie. I hope you will. But ultimately, our hope, our prayer is that you will be the movement. That's really the most important piece of this. That you'll be inspired, that you'll be encouraged to rise up and be a powerhouse in your work and in your family and wherever you spend your life, that you'll be a person of influence, and that you'll spend at least a day with us, remembering the prisoners and praying for the Pauls. That's our tagline, because Hebrews 13 says, "Remember those who are in prison as if you yourself were in prison." And Jesus begins his Sermon on the Mount by saying, "Pray for those who persecute you." And Paul, a man who ultimately died after being imprisoned under a murderous, hateful man, was once a murderous, hateful man sending others to prison for the very same thing he died for. And so we're going to pray and we're going to ask the Lord on November 3rd, on the International Day of Prayer for the Persecuted Church, we're going to ask the Lord for more of those stories, and that he would call Paul's out of the current Romes of today, the current Jerusalems of today. That he would call Paul's, yes, out of ISIS and every other tormenting entity on the earth, but that he would call Paul's out of your workplace and out of your family and out of everywhere you find yourself. That he would change the hearts of the most hateful. So we love you. I'm sorry this was so emotional, but it's a pretty powerful moment and place. So if you haven't already, your church can sign up for a free Defiant night. Be with us in prayer November 3rd. Be the movement. Love you guys.